Okay, so I think I have a couple. Don't do it, Brew. I have a couple things I want to talk about today. But the first one is kind of like this idea of like you're a small content creator and like nobody cares about your content. Your content isn't important. Why are you even going? Your opinion doesn't matter. And here's what I want to say to you. If you have enough courage to turn on the camera and speak to the camera, you are at a place that is further along than someone else. I want to explain this to you because, like, as told by Kenya, was that person for me. I really enjoyed watching Kelly Stamp's videos. Like, this is when I was not really making any content at all. I enjoyed watching it. But it was just because it was funny. Like, it would just, like, make me laugh. It was, like, the same way I was watching, like, Natalie Tran. It was just really funny content and I could watch it and just like watch it for enjoyment in the way that I'd watch a movie. Kenya's channel was a bit different for me because it introduced me to like a person who had ideas, some opinions, especially about things in black culture that were like problematic, and she had words to call them out, and nobody else was doing that. And I still kind of feel like some people are doing it, but I feel like all the takes are exactly the same. And so I posted this a few days ago where I was like, oh, I saw this one video and it was this girl talking about how there's all these like changes to YouTube. And the one thing that she pointed out that I thought is the most important and critical to highlight here was this idea of like your content not being posted because it is flagged as duplicate. So I keep seeing this over and over, and this has been my problem with YouTube for a very long time, and really a lot of content platforms. People are legitimately just making the same content over and over and over, and someone will do some research to like highlight this idea, right? And like Khadijah does this very well, where she will like research something and then produce this idea, and you're like, oh my god, I'm not really familiar with that like perspective, because she always introduces like her own lens for the perspective in addition to what she researched, and she always puts like the papers that she read that informed her idea. This is like the big idea behind research. This is how we like move society forward. I am interested in diving down that lane, and I think that like a lot of you should just be aware that like that lane exists first of all, and that you can participate. And I've talked about this multiple times in a way where I'm saying like um other black content creators are making content about stuff, and even if you like don't agree with it, especially if you don't agree with it, you could call them out on it, you could give a critique on it. But also I feel like more content creators should be making videos that are like, I like this content because, and now that's a space that is like completely missing. How is it that every single person that comments, especially like black people on other black people's videos, they're like, I don't like this, you're wrong because you're this, because you do realize that if you are, especially black males kill me with this. Like, first of all, sir, you shouldn't be talking about any black woman's appearance. Because, like, if you're black, I don't care if you're mixed race or whatever, the fact is, like, one of your parents is, like, black. Especially if you have a black mother. Like, you do know that your children are going to be, like, black women. And, like, the funny thing, like, Kanye West is, like, a really good example of this. His like daughters, he has like black children, like his sons look so black, his daughter does too. It's like you have created this toxic ass awful culture for women, really all women at this point, and now you're like, yes, but like my daughter's different. No, like, unfortunately, like that same propaganda that you yourself put out, and there are women who are trying to like live within it, like someone else's daughter is going to be victimized by it, and most likely, just because of the way karma works, it's probably going to be yours. I think some people are just very, and here's another thing I thought about this earlier. um so you guys remember when Tyla put up these um so she puts up the ethnic breakdown or whatever, the, I guess it's ancestry.com breakdown of all the places that she's from. So if she's like so European, then why not take like her, I guess she is doing a European tour. Well, let's see like how like this lands with like actual Europeans who are like white and like see themselves as like white. That's a like real thing. Like Europe is like always exists with like white people. White girls are not all of a sudden going to be like, oh my God, yes, I want to be Tyla. Like, that's not like. I feel like some people's rhetoric, especially the South Africans, is kind of like, oh yes, well, as long as we've classified this person as like not being black, well, now we can classify them as being white. Just like, well, no, like you do realize like white people have their own lane, and I think like the perspective that I'm trying to give you is just one that's a little bit more. Oh God, Brew, it's a little bit more multicultural, just in the sense of like, here's a good content creator. Go watch like Misha. I'll put her profile in the bio, but she made a video that was about people who try to do race switching things where they, in their mind, they're like, I'm going to switch races, and they listen to a song or something and they want to be Japanese or they want to be black or they want to be white, whatever it is. They want to like change the race that they are. And they do it by like listening to a subliminal song or some shit, not supposed to be the race switching thing. That's weird, obviously, but people are really doing that. And what I'm saying is it's weird. Like, you could just it's just weird. And then another thing I think is like weird too. Like, I guess people are thinking that, oh, okay, so we can lump all these things together. We can say people with fluffy hair, people with frizzy hair, those are the black ones. People with the brown skin, okay, those are the black ones. Any trait that we deem undesirable is black. But the thing that doesn't make sense about this is like there are attractive black people and there are unattractive black people in the same way that there are attractive white people and unattractive white people, in the same way that there are like attractive Latin people and unattractive Latin people. That has been really my only point on this channel. And it's frustrating for people to try to look at it a different way. That's all I'm saying. That's kind of all I've ever been saying. It's just frustrating that people can't understand that. If you live in a world, like for instance, and you could hate me for this, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, like the fat model Paloma won model of the year. I feel like I'm not saying I've watched every fashion show, but I've watched a few, and I don't think if she was in a fashion show, I definitely ignored that piece of the fashion show. And I feel like they're trying to give like representation points to fat people at this point, because there are some fat people like Lizzo who have like who are hyper visible, okay, and so they're trying to make it seem like, oh, okay, yeah, we all care about the fat people. Fat people matter. Yeah, but not in high fashion. Just create a new category. Mona should have won Model of the Year, and I thought it was, I don't know, I kind of thought it was just weird to have Mona be like, oh, you deserve to win Model of the Year. Like, girl, no, you don't, but whatever. Um, there was another thing I wanted to cover. Oh, here's another thing that's strange, and maybe I'll actually make longer content about this, but I have a nail appointment. So people are talking about T Jakes or something, the black priest guy, who gives all these sermons. He gives sermons all day long. He's very, no, Bruce, stop it. He gives sermons all day long, right? He's like on Revolt now. And here's the thing. I feel like this is one point in time where we can point to the black community. The black church has been problematic for a very long time because the black community has been problematic for a very long time, and it's the black people in the black community that are going to the black church. So the black community is full of sinners, okay? They sin in the daytime, they sin in the night, and we all know what sinning looks like. And some people have found it to be a safer space to not be a part of the church because they like experience rape, they've experienced fraud, they've experienced all of these like really bad experiences in the black church. I'm not saying that these don't happen in the white church, but I'm saying that this like idea of being like hyper Christian and extremely religious is all talk and no action. It's like the black academics who they want to be black when it's convenient. Like if it's blackish or something, they want to be like, oh yes, we are black. But as soon as like Sexy Red hits the scene, they're like, no, we're not that black. Nope, we're not that. You talk about Michelle Obama. Hold on, she's gonna break the cat tree, and I gotta fix it. Hold on a second. Okay, we're just gonna move the tree. Kirk, sorry. You are gonna like fall all the way off with this, and I don't want you to. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, people want to be like, they want to attend the black church and all that shit when it's like, ooh, I can talk about being a Christian or whatever. But if all these people are really Christians, they would be doing the things that all the other Christians are doing. I'm not just saying the white Christians, but or the Catholics, for instance. They literally are like anti-abortion because like that's like they're like pro-life because that's in the Bible. How is it that there's like 900 black women a day who are aborting children? Where's the black church at? Any of them? You see, not even one. Like, what's that shit? Sexy Red comes out with a whole album. Did you see the preachers, JT, Jakes, or whatever? You have to talk to the people who are here. It was like that one example. I think I even talked about this when Krishan went to the church. It was a church she had like grown up in, and all of a sudden the pastor was like, "Who's one of our own? She's one of our." Where were you at when she was getting her ass beat? Okay, where were you at when she was like falling off? Were you trying to support her? Were you calling her to be like, "Yes, honey, come back to church"? No, because all this shit in the black community is for show. It's for fucking show. Show. They don't care. They don't care. That's why a lot of people have stopped going to church. In the black community, they've stopped going. But then there's another part of it where people have stopped going to church, and you got the Kanye West Frank Ocean song. There ain't no church in the wild. And if it ain't clear, I think Kanye West stopped going to church because all the shit he's doing is like demon possessed. Like, even his whole last album, he was walking around just looking like a straight up demon. He had the guy who was like an actual demon, like literally floating, and they were all standing on blood. It's like, so he's now become the Antichrist, but he holds church on Sunday. Like, that's not how this works. If you want to come out and be a demon, we know what witches look like. There are Wiccan seminars. You can participate, but don't come out and be like, you're not a demon, you're a saint or something, and then name all your children like prophets. No, and then all your actions literally go up beyond that. They say something else, and you have whole albums that are literally like right now. We're not talking about something he did like 2 years ago. We're talking about something that he's like actively working on. Like, wasn't it last weekend? Okay, he was talking about fucking Jewish women as Jewish women are like dying. They were like being dragged through the street naked, being actually raped. Now's probably not a good time to make, if that was a joke, that was not just an insensitive joke, that was an anti-Semitic joke. In the same way that a lot of the shit that Kanye West says has been like anti-black women. And then all of a sudden a black woman, his own mother, was like, yes, I was thinking about aborting him, and the rest, everybody else was like, oh no, it's a sad, is it really? When everybody's like, please don't produce any more demons that are going to attack us. Speaking as a black woman, please, no, don't produce any more, like, NLE choppies. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, the rest of us are trying to, like, survive in peace. When you have these dudes who are out here, like, making violent murder music, and they look like Lil Wayne the Demon, okay? Like, nobody is safe, including you. You think it's safe now, right? Because, okay, so maybe he hasn't made a music video about you yet, just like Jewish women. Actually, no, they didn't. And I feel like, to be quite honest, like the same sentiment I feel like I heard from Ben Shapiro before the anti-Semitic things about Kanye West, he holds the same sentiment now. And the same sentiment that was like, oh, you're degrading women, then is the same sentiment that he holds now, except it's even more extreme because they're degrading his women. You see what I'm saying? For some reason, people like to have this double fucking standard, especially when it comes to rap music, because it's like so pervasive. First, they say this shit about black women, and people laugh. They're like, it's them. And then all of a sudden, one of their own gets shot. You guys see what Jonathan Majors did to that chick, okay? Blackmail. Then he does it to her. Now there is some part, and then, do you see what he does after that? He runs right back to a black woman. He drags Meg the Stallion, almost like, she looks like a pathetic woman. Girl, like, this man, he doesn't need saving. That's a grown-ass man. What do you think, you're gonna save him in court? Like, he's like going down, and then you like attach your name to like a sinking ship? How long has this bitch been in Hollywood? None of it makes any sense. Another video that I will make later on tonight, if you're interested in hearing, I'm actually interested in talking about, like, I finally found the community of people who believe Ice Spice is pretty and they like her. I work with someone who feels that way. I did a whole interrogation session, and I just kind of want to unpack that because, like, it was a perspective that I feel like I just didn't understand before, and I do now, and I just feel like I have to share because, like, I feel like I did research, like, I was just, like, searching, and now I'm found or something. I had a revelation.